watch this before you bring your kids to Germany. Hi, my name is Evelyn. I make videos about living, working, schooling as an expat family here in Germany, and I've been living here with my family for a period of 6 years plus, and today I'll be sharing with you on childcare and having children here in Germany. And this video is by popular demand, so stay tuned. So my first experience with childcare, of course, was when I had my child in the middle of COVID at the beginning of the lockdown in 2020. And of course, I've never had any child outside Germany because my son is my first child, and this is the first time I'm having any birth experience whatsoever. But I've seen and heard from different people from different parts of the world, from the place I come from the UK, from the US, and from different countries, and I can really and with that I can actually make some comparisons. So the first thing that I noticed was at the point when I had my baby, or when I got pregnant, I started making some research and all that. I noticed that firstly, you get to choose your gynecologist. You get to choose any gynecologist that you want. If you go for a first appointment and you're not really, of course you should have a gynecologist even before you have your baby, but that's a story for another day. And so yeah, you could continue with that gynecologist if you feel aligned and if you feel supported by that gynecologist, or you could decide to move to another gynecologist. But I'll recommend that any gynecologist that you go for is one that is very close to your place, because when you get pregnant and you're proceeding in your pregnancy, especially towards the end, your visit to the gynecologist will be more frequent, so you need somewhere that is just close by, where you can maybe take a walk or maximum few stops from your house. And so alongside with your gynecologist, you can also be supported by a midwife, which both are covered by your insurance. Of course, you can ask your health insurance provider on the other benefits that you get under their covers. However, you have to, just like you search for your gynecologist, you have to also go ahead to search for a midwife which you feel supported by. Like, you do an interview, the midwife comes over, or you go over there, do an interview, ask questions and all that. And if you feel that the vibe is really giving, then you can go ahead with that midwife. Now, here in Germany, there are different types of beds. You can choose the different types of bed that you want. You could choose to have your child in the hospital. You could choose to have your child in a birth house supported by midwives. I'm not sure. You need to ask from your insurance cover if that covers it, or maybe you have to pay part of that. And you can also choose to have a home birth, like a water bath or something like that. So you get to choose whatever path you want to go to. Now, so once you pick your gynecologist, you then start going for regular checks, different tests are carried out, to check your weight, your blood pressure, your sugar level, and different genetic tests are usually carried out. Some are covered by the insurance, some are not, some are out of pocket, depending on which one you want to go for. But with David's pregnancy, my child's pregnancy, we went for all the tests. Some we had to pay from out of pocket, some the insurance covered. So yeah, and then at the point of having a baby, when I was close, or when I was almost due, then my gynecologist asked that I could go ahead to choose an hospital, preferably also one that is very close to your apartment, so that you don't have to drive all the way and maybe probably have your child on the road or on the drive to the hospital. So so I went ahead to register in an hospital. This is actually not so required, because every hospital is mandated to attend to you if you knock their door in the middle of the night, in the middle of labor. However, it's just considered good so that the hospital knows when to expect you, so and also it's also good for you as a mom, or as an expecting mom, to go to view the place to see if it's something that you like, if it resonates with you, if you feel supported by them, by just doing an informal interview to see how the place is like. So when I went to the hospital that we chose, I think we went to 2. It was the second one, which was not far from our place, that we later went for. and yeah, we asked some questions and all that. But one thing that stood out for me, the things that they said was, when I'm coming to have my child, I should not bring anything for the child. I'm like, how does that work? And they're like, yeah, don't bring anything. You can bring everything you want for yourself, but don't bring anything for the child. But as Nigerian I am, did I hear? No, I did not. So I packed a bag full of clothes for myself and for the child. I used the one for mine. I did not use for my child. Everything was well catered for. Clothes, cares, and everything was well catered for. So it brings me to the first point, that bet is inexpensive. I remember then, during my banking days, when people would travel out of Nigeria, maybe to the US, and I would be hearing $10,000, $15,000 for bet. I'm like, okay. It was something I was looking forward to, because of course I was working in a bank. I was like, yes, we're gonna have it. We are gonna have it. But then, not being faithful, I had my first child here, and I'm like, wow. It was a totally different experience. Now, this is covered by the insurance, and also if you want a room to yourself at the hospital, you might have to pay for like a family room, you know, to be able to stay with your partner, to be able to stay with you during the time of your stay. Now, during the time of your birth, the new mom might have to stay for a period of 5 days, where you get support from the midwife and the nurses, where breastfeeding and all other stuff are concerned. Maternity and paternity leave of 14 months is granted to both mom and dad. Like I said, maternity and paternity, where considering the new laws that are being spoken about in 2024, both parents can choose to have at most 1 month together, where maybe after the child is here, both parents can stay at home for a period of 1 month, and then one parent has to go back to work. So both parents cannot stay out of work more than a period of 1 month. That's if both parents were working before the child was born. Now, for the maternity or paternity leave, you get 60% of your pay during the period of your paternity leave, which is about a year plus, which is so great, especially if you count it so important to be able to stay at home with your child. However, if you're unemployed, you get at least 300 euros every month for a period of 1 year. However, you can stay as long as 3 years for your paternity or your maternity leave, but that is not guaranteed that you'll be paid for that period of 3 years. So you need to talk to both your insurance provider and your employer. However, during that period of time, during your paternity or maternity leave, your employer by law cannot sack you. Like, if it's 3 years you choose to take, if it's 1 year you choose to take, you cannot be sacked. You cannot really be sacked. So yeah. Now, on to the next point. Childcare is free in a lot of cities in Berlin. Childcare, by that I mean, once a child is 1 year plus, the child is entitled to a space in a kita. That doesn't mean that you automatically get a space. You have to apply maybe just immediately when your child is born. Some people say you apply before your child is born, but when you go to apply, they ask you what the name of the child is and what the date of birth is. So you need to wait till when the child is here before you start applying for a kita. If you live in a big city like Berlin, in a very crowded area, you need to apply really fast in plenty places, and then you'll be placed on the waiting list. And then after a while, fingers crossed, you then get a space in a kita, hopefully not far from your place, so that pick up and drop off is easy breezy. For instance, in a place like Berlin, kitas are free. Like, I get to pay about 23 euros per month for food, and that's all for a period of 6 years. The child goes and comes, depending on the hours that maybe if both parents are working, you can get a period of 9 hours plus. If maybe one parent has flexible time, you could get about 7 hours plus, between 5 to 7 hours plus at the kita, which is really, really amazing. And so what happens at the kita, because kids get to stay at the kindergarten or at the kita for a period of 6 years, between 1 and 6 years old. So what happens at the kita, they go in the morning. Sometimes breakfast happens around 8 o'clock. If you want your child to be there for breakfast by 8, you need to be there before 8, especially if you have to get to work maybe by 9 or 8:30. Your child has to be there for breakfast. for some kitas they ask you to bring breakfast along. For some kitas they provide breakfast. Sometimes David eats at home, but a few months ago he started joining them at the kita maybe 2-3 times in a week, which helps with like maybe interaction because it's more vocal, it's more interactive and all that. And then after that, maybe there's circle time, they play, they sing, they read to them and all that. If the weather outside is fine and cool, they get to go to the park, or if they have a garden inside their kita, they get to play with in the Spielplatz, and they plays with their mates, their group mates and all that. And one thing I've noticed is that in some kitas the kita is usually shared between the small garden and the big garden. Maybe small garden for smaller kids between 1 and 3 or 4, and then the big garden for bigger kids like 5 and 6, you know, because their energy are different, so that the 6-year-olds will not use the energy to injure the 3-year-old. So yeah. And so when the child clocks 6 years, the child is entitled to a place in a primary school, which is called Grundschule here. And like I said, education is free in Germany. And so if it's a publicly run or government run Grundschule, what I learned is that you're then allocated to 2 Grundschules where you go there to see if you like the vibe, if you like maybe the environment, the teachers, and you feel good about the place. You can choose to take your child to a private school, which will then be paid by you out of pocket. A lot of expats I've seen in recent times have chosen to take their children to international schools or to private schools because maybe that supports, maybe they've seen that it supports the kids better, but we'll see. Another reason why Germany supports children is that you can easily get a place around. Like almost every apartment has a Spielplatz or has a place in the compound. If there is not one in the compound, there's definitely one like just few minutes walk away from your house. And you know that kids are so full of energy, so when you are so tired and you're tired, when your child is so full of energy and the energy cannot be contained in the house, all you have to do is just get dressed according to the weather outside and head down to the Spielplatz. And there at the Spielplatz, parents get to interact, parents get to meet each other, kids also get to play together, get to know each other, you know, play together, gist and all that. Another reason why Germany supports people with children here is the child benefit. For each child, the parents are paid what is called Kindergeld, and each child gets to have 250 euros each for a period of 18 years till the child is 18 years, or 25 years if the child is still living with their parents. And so if you're moving to Germany with your kids from abroad, all you have to do is to approach the Jugendamt close to your place or in your basic amt, and then you tell them that maybe you're looking for a Schule, especially if your child is past the kita age. And yeah, there's something to be afraid of where language is concerned, because your child would be given special German classes, especially if your child is older, maybe 6 years and above, and you're thinking maybe your child will not be able to adapt to the system here. It's nothing to be worried about. Your child will be given extra lessons where the German language is concerned, and so that the child can catch up. And with kids, it's quite easier than we adults. They tend to catch up really faster. And yeah, so there's nothing to be worried about if you're moving from abroad to Germany with older kids. I hope you've been able to get 1 or 2 things from this video. Let me know what you gained from this video, and thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down in the comment section, and I'll be seeing you on my next one. Bye.